Morning, everyone. We'll see what is operating system. The operating system is an interface between the computer user and the computer hardware. So it act as an interface between a computer user because we can't directly communicate with the computer. It is a hardware. It understands only the binary language. So we can't speak in binary language, right? So we need an interface to communicate with the computer hardware. Operating system acts as an interface between the computer user and computer hardware. Also, the operating system is a software which performs multiple things. The basic tasks like file management, memory management, process management, and handling input and output, and controlling peripheral devices such as disk drives and printers. So, doing multiple tasks. This is the perfect example for the operating system. So the operating system doing multiple tasks like this, it will control the input and outputs and disk drives and various application. It acts an interface between the computer user and the computer hardware. So the computer system consists of the following components. Computer users, application software, system software, and computer hardware. The computer user is nothing but we are the computer user. Then what is application software? We must know what is application software, right? Every day we are using different apps. Application is app. So we are using Word, Excel, then we are doing we are using browsers. So these are all application softwares, and we are using different languages such as Python, Java, and C++. So these are the example for the application software. Then what is system software? The system software is the OS is a system software and compiler, assembler. These are the system software. These softwares more complex in nature and they are more near to computer hardware. Okay. Then computer hardware. We are all know what are all the computer hardwares: monitor, keyboard, CPU, disk, memory. These are all the computer hardwares. So this is a computer system, which is the example for the operating system, working of the operating system. So the operating system, this is a hardware. This is an operating system. This is systems, I mean application softwares, and these are all the users. So the operating system acts as an interface between the computer hardware and the computer user. Now you get some idea about the operating system. Okay, these are all the operating system which we are heard about. Then MS-DOS, Linux, Windows, Android, and iOS. Okay. So these are all example for operating system. These are all the functions which are done by the operating system. So operating system doing so many things like process management, IO device management, file management, network management, and it doing so many things. Let's see one by one. Then there are different types of operating systems out there: batch operating system, time sharing operating system or multitasking, distributed operating system, multiprocessing, multi-programming, and real-time system. So let's see one by one. Batch operating system. The batch operating system is a technique in which an operating system collects the programs and data together and make it as a batch and they allocate to the CPU. So I explained this concept with an example. This is the different jobs allocated to the operating system. Each user allocate different jobs to the operating systems. So these jobs are divided into batches and these batches are allocated to CPU. The CPU execute the batches one by one. These batches executes it will execute one by one at a time. Only one batch will be executed by the CPU. So most of the time the CPU will idle, because if any batch need an IO devices, it request any IO request, so it waiting for the IO responses. At the time the CPU will be idle, but we have to use the CPU time efficiently, right? So the batch processing system having this drawback. Next, the time sharing operating system. This is a good approach. Actually, we are using the CPU timing in a different time quantums. If an operating system, the operating system allocate different jobs to the CPU based on the time quantum. For example, if a process execute for 3 milliseconds, the operating system stop that process and give the chance to the another process. Then that process will execute it for another 3 milliseconds. So each process will execute for a particular time quantum. It works based on like that. Okay, then multitasking. The multitasking means we are using system not only for only one purpose. We are using it for multi-purpose, right? For example, if we are using a computer and we are hearing music, we are accessing a web browser, and we are accessing mail, and we are doing some programs. So we are doing multitasking with the computer. So the operating system allocates the CPU, allocate this multitasking to the CPU. Even we can't feel the operating system switches, the CPU switches from one process to another process. We can't see any differences because it will work like it will work in that much fast. So we can't identify that. So we are at a time we can do multiple tasking. The distributed operating system. So the distributed operating system means the different systems are connected in the network. So a distributed environment refers to multiple independent CPUs or processors in a computer system. So the operating system does the different activities like the OS distributes computation logics among several physical processors. For example, if there is a process means it will distribute to all the processors. Suppose if the one system fails, we can execute those programs in different processors. Then multi-programming. Usually we know the programs are stored in the hard disk. If you want to execute any program, we have to load the program from hard disk to main memory. Okay, the operating system doing this job. At a time, we can store program in main memory and it will allocate it to the CPU. In multi-programming environment, there are different multiple programs in the main memory. The CPU execute the programs one by one. Okay, the operating system keeps several jobs in the memory at a time. So this set of job is subset of the jobs kept in the job pool. The operating system picks and begins to execute one of the jobs in the memory. In multi-programming operating system monitors the state of all active programs and system resources using memory management programs to ensure that the CPU is never idle. So we can use the CPU time efficiently. This is the example for the multi-programming. Then multi-processing operating system. It is different from the multi-programming operating system. In the multi-programming system that has two or more than one processor. In this, CPUs are added for increasing the computing speed of the system. Okay, so there are different processors. Each processor will do some jobs. So multi-processing, there are many processes that are executed simultaneously. See this example. This is the working of the multiprocessing. There are different CPUs in each working process. So we can do the multiple processing at the same time. Then real-time operating system. So the real-time systems are usually dedicated embedded systems. So operating system does the following activities related to the real-time system activity. In such systems, operating system typically read from sensors and react based on the actuators. It will react based on that. The operating system is guaranteed response to events within the fixed period of time to ensure correct performance. There are two types of real-time operating systems out there: hard real-time operating system and soft real-time operating system. So the hard real-time operating system means if suppose the operation is incorrect, it produces a major disaster. For example, air traffic control or medical system. This is the example for the hard real-time operating system. And soft real-time operating system is this operation is degraded if results are not produced according to the specific time, it will not affect. So for example, computer games. These are the different types of operating system. We see the operating system services in the next video. Thank you.